Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What's in Your Cup Conversations. I am your host, Consuela Nicole, as well as your favorite inspirational speaker and life balance and accountability coach. And today we are in for a fantastic ride and a great conversation. As you know, we are going to be talking about everything is not what it seems to be, right? So go ahead and come on in. As you come in, make sure you are sharing the link because this conversation, as you already know, can definitely be the answer to someone else's prayers. We are currently streaming on Facebook as well as YouTube. So you can share it, copy it, and send it on over. Okay, I had to make sure it was. I had to make sure it was on. So this has definitely been an interesting week for your girl. But before we get started, right? I know we have some new listeners and some new followers, some new viewers. So I want to thank you very very much for joining. So let me explain something to you. What's in your cup conversations? Of course, we're not just talking about what you're drinking on, but we will talk about that as well, but we're talking about what's in your mental, physical, and emotional cup, right? Because we currently live in a time that we talk about the beginning of someone's story and we talk about, the glitz, the glam, and the highlights of the story, but we never really talk about the middle of the story. You know what I mean? The ins and outs, the ups and downs, what somebody had to go through, what they had to give up, right? We don't talk about the not so glamorous life, but that's what we're talking about today, or that's what we talk about, period, on What's in Your Cup conversations. We're having transparent conversations about the real, the right now, in everyday life. Before I bring my guest on, one of the things I definitely want to talk about is, and I made this post earlier this week in regards to things we carry in life, right? I asked the question of the chains that we're carrying. The chains that we're carrying, are they chains that really belong to you? Or are they chains that were passed down from generation to generation? Or were there chains that was just added to you from society? I really want to know. So let's talk about those chains and what those chains look like and how do you break free of your chains? Because that is definitely something that we are going to talk about today with my guest that we're going to be bringing up here in just a moment. Also, one of the wonderful updates that we have here with What's in Your Cup conversations. As you know, we are um, 2 months from the end of season 2, and we have had some amazing guests. We've had some amazing supporters, just like you and you and you. And I want to thank you all for your continued support. So, with that being said, one of the new updates that we are doing now for What's in Your Cup conversations. Hello, Mr. SinQ, Mr. Chill with Teddy Ray. Hello, welcome to the conversation. One of the updates that we're doing here at What's in Your Cup Conversations is we are now offering sponsorship packets, right? So this is for all my business owners, entrepreneurs, no matter if you're big, small, in between, just getting started, we have something for everyone. So as I say, what is your cup of choice? Are you a travel cup person? Or are you a shot glass type of person? Whatever your choice is, check out the website. Let me know. And even if you need a special packet, let me know what that packet is, and we can always work something out, right? And you can find that information directly on the website of what's in your cup conversations.com, right? That is what we're doing. And I love it. So sit tight, guys. I hope you are ready because this conversation that we have going on that is about to happen is definitely going to I don't know where it's gonna go. And let me explain to you why. The guest that I have today, we're talking about Miss Jessaca Rowe. Jessica is an energetic motivational speaker, author, and podcast host dedicated to empowering individuals to unlock their full potential and achieve their goals. With over a decade of experience in personal development and wellness, Jessica has inspired audiences around the world to embrace change, overcome obstacles, and create a life they love. but also, and I have to put it out there, she does so many things, but she is also one of my sister friends, one of my accountability partners. And baby, she does not have a problem pulling my coattail. But we're going to talk about that too. So, ladies and gentlemen, well, let's welcome to the stage Miss Jessica Rowe.
Hey y'all, hey, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Happy
Yeah,
what, Wednesday? Yep.
Wednesday. That's what I was like. Wait a minute, what is it? It is. It's Wednesday. It is Wednesday, April 16th. And man, I'm excited about today. How you doing today, first of all? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am doing well. I can't complain. I won't complain. Ain't no need to complain.
Right, right, because it ain't gonna do no good, right? It is not
Right.
gonna do no good. So I get that wholeheartedly. First of all, I want to thank you for taking time out your day and joining us here on What's in Your Cup Conversations. Um, Most people don't know you still, even though you decided, and I'm gonna put it out there, you decided to wait until we was good into season 2. But you had a hand into birthing a lot of this stuff that was going on behind the scenes. So I
Yeah.
want to publicly tell you thank you for being, part of that support system, and holding me accountable. Because, baby, let me tell you, Jessica will put a message out. Hey, what you doing? What is that? I haven't seen something. So I want to publicly tell you thank you for your continued support in front of the scenes and behind the scenes.
You are welcome. Very welcome.
So I read part of your bio, and literally it was just part of your bio, right?
Hmm.
And this is
Hmm.
a question I ask all of my guests. I introduced you with what I see or what the world see is in your cup.
Yeah.
How does Jessica introduce herself to the woman in the mirror every morning to get her day started?
With peace, inner peace, self love, self awareness, self care, all of that stuff. That has to be in my cup in the morning when I look in the mirror and I get ready for my day. I have to feel myself with those thought processes of
Okay.
saying, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna have a good day today. Whatever comes your way, don't trip, don't worry about it, focus and
Hmm.
through the day. So that's how I feel my cup.
So you really you give yourself self talk like first thing in the morning.
Oh, in the evening too, when I lay down.
So you
when I
talk to yourself to get your day started and to end your day. What
Yeah.
does that look like? I mean, what we hear people talk about self talk, or
Mhm,
talking to
mhm,
yourself and motivating yourself all
mhm.
the time. But what does that look like for you? What do you actually say to yourself to get you going? Because I know you in a world that you can get attacked from many different sides and from many different angles. So
Yeah.
what does that self-talk look like for you? Give the people some examples. Let's have that transparent conversation.
Well, the self talk can look like me telling myself, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You
Okay.
upset, you're mad or whatnot. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be okay. It's just really giving myself that consistently positive attitude, that positive thought. And like you said, a lot of people hear it, but it's like, really? Come on now. Can't nobody be that positive every day,
Mm-hmm.
all day, and you know what I'm saying, whatnot. But you have to make yourself that way. You know what I'm saying? You have to
Mm-hmm.
be that way for yourself. And when you have those negative thoughts, or you have those thoughts of I can't, it won't, this is, too bad for me or whatnot, I snap myself out of that thinking, because I know where it could take me, right? Because if we start to talk negative and think negative and talk
Mm-hmm.
negative, people have petty conversations and things like that all of the time, that drains you, that drains your body, that drains your energy. And for me, I really started to understand what my body is about, what it's made up of, what it's comprised of.
Right. It's funny that you say that you can't always be happy and always think positive, because that wasn't your life before.
Oh no.
You wasn't. What you say? Oh no, that's not where you was at before.
Right.
You've been on a journey.
Oh yeah.
You've been on a journny.
A couple
So
of
what
times.
did you say a couple of times?
A couple of times back and forth on that journey. You probably alluded to, like for me, it's with anxiety and depression.
Okay.
You know, coming back from that, you good, you okay for the maybe 3 months or so, and something else happens, or you get triggered with something and you find yourself back in that hole, back down there. And I used to try to hurry up and pull myself out of that hole.
Right.
But sometimes you have to sit with that stuff and understand, like,
Oh,
why is it happening? So you
right.
have to, I go by what I call the three A's, the letter
Okay.
A, three of them:
Okay.
like awareness, acknowledgement, and action. So
Awareness, acknowledgement, and action. Okay.
So I'm aware that it's a problem, that it's an issue. I'm feeling depressed. I have anxiety. So now that I'm aware of that, I have to acknowledge, like, why? What's going on with that? What is the root cause of that? Why do I have this anxiety? Why do I have this depression? And acknowledge what it is for, really for what it truly is. And
Okay.
then decide, can I stop this, or do I just keep going? You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
be that way. Can I correct this? Can I change this? Can I not? I acknowledge those moments of that root
Okay.
cause of whatever I'm going to. And then when I decide on, okay, I can change this, I can get up out of this, I take action. So I'm
Okay.
aware of it, I acknowledge it, and then I take action on it.
So let's back up a little bit because Jessica Rowe, first of all, she is a mom.
Right.
She is a wife. She is an entrepreneur. She is an author. Um, she's in corporate America, right? She's
Mhm.
out in the community doing things. She heavy in the volunteer world, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And at the time, you were actually still in school.
Right.
How did you know you had hit a breaking point and that it was time for change? What was going on in your life when you was like, no, enough is enough?
So at what point? You mean like when I went into school or after
No.
school?
What was going on in your life when you was like, okay, I'm heading down into this dark, because you've called it
Okay.
a dark place, right?
Okay,
Where
there
you
you
was
go.
like, I'm in this dark place. This is not what I want. It's time for me to
Mhm.
take control and make that change. Because what I do know is part of your journey, you wrote your first book, and we're going to
Mhm.
talk about that. But
Mhm.
shortly after that, you was like, no, it's a whole, it's time for a complete shift of such.
Mhm. Mhm.
What was going on, or what was your thought process, or what happened to Jessica for her to say, or for you to say, enough is enough, I'm ready for change?
Well, what happened was I finished school, finished college. I went on countless interviews. I uh, did my resume over and over again to fit the job description and the cover letter, and nothing. Nothing happened. And that's what sent me into that dark place. Now, mind you, I had a job, but I
Mhm.
wanted something else that I felt was more fulfilling. I wanted to work in places that was more fulfilling to me, and it just didn't happen.
Mhm.
And just coming home every evening after work and looking up jobs and redoing my resume and cover letter and sending 3 or 4 out, like I'm talking about like 11, 12 o'clock at night. I'm still looking,
Sure. Okay.
and nothing. Or I get a call, oh, we want to interview. Oh, okay, we do the interview. Or I get a call, oh, well, you don't fit what we need. I mean, that was just so devastating to, like
Right.
you said, be a mom and a wife and work a job and still go to school at nighttime three to
Mhm.
four times a week for 3.5 years to graduate with honors, and you
Right.
still not hiring me. And also, while I was going to school and doing all those things, I'm doing volunteer work to get the
Right.
experience, and I
Right.
still nothing. So that is what sent me into that dark place of anxiety and depression and feeling as like, just feeling helpless and hopeless, like nothing is happening. And
Right.
so when I got would scroll on Facebook, got on there, and I found this group called Heal a Woman to Heal a Nation. And when I
Right.
got in that group, it just changed my thought process, my mindset about me out here scrounging and scraping and being in the ER and trying to look for a job here and there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's more to that. It's more to life than doing that. So when I found that group and they said, come on out here to Baltimore, we're having our annual women's conference. And I told myself, I said, okay, I'm going. I
Right.
need this because in this Facebook group we were in, I followed them for a whole year. And I listened to, at that time, it was teleconferences when you can call an
Right.
800 number and pray
Oh
right
yeah. Yeah.
and all that other type of stuff. So I listened to different guests that they would have once a week or whatever it was, and they just totally inspired me to go out there and
Right.
see what this was about. And that was when I got back from that trip. That was a turning point to where I'm saying, okay, I need to write this book because they're talking about entrepreneurship, making a way for yourself and your life. You
Mhm.
don't have to depend on a 9 to 5. Many of them left 6-figure jobs to make
Oh yeah.
6 figures on their own. So
Right.
I want to look into doing the same. So that's
Okay.
what, that's the whole story behind that.
And speaking of the book, this is the book that was birthed from that, right?
Right.
A new
Uh-huh.
level mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have my autograph copy. Now I still pick up that book and thumb through it and oh yeah, I remember this part now, right?
Mm-hmm.
What without giving all the tidbits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
give a little sneak peek of what is a new level mindset. What is this particular book about? Because I'm actually share the link as well where people can go get their own copy. But
Right.
what is this particular book all about?
It's really about changing your thought process, like I was speaking of earlier, just
Hmm.
changing your mindset and the way that you look at things when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's for aspiring entrepreneurs. At that time, that was a booming thing when I published
Right.
this book in 2017, and it still is today. But
Hmm.
at that time, people were just scraping and trying to find the answers to it. Like, how do
Right.
I get there? How do I um work from home? How do I am I by the laptop, at the beach or what? How do I get there?
Right.
And it was about me as that aspiring entrepreneur, learning that I had to let some things go. I had to let my old thinking go and get on a new level of thinking and thinking a new way so I can get to this place.
Okay. Okay. Now, in the midst of getting into this new place and changing your mindset, you've done a lot of inner work, or they call it, you've done a lot of mirror work, right?
Mm, yeah.
There has been times where you was full fledged out there in front of the community, in the community. You was always on the go. You was always on the go. And then there came a point where you was like, okay, enough is enough. I need to work on me now. Because at
Mhm.
the beginning of this conversation, you said you'd been on this journey a couple of times. It wasn't just
Yeah.
the one time. It was
Mhm.
a few times. So now
Mhm.
you didn't hit a ceiling per se,
Mhm.
right? And you stopped and
Mhm.
you kind of took a step back from everything,
Yeah.
right? And you did a mindset shift yet again.
Mhm.
What was that shift all about?
That shift was all about well-being and wellness.
Okay.
Knowing that for me to fully step into entrepreneurship, not only did I have to change my mind, I had to be well in my
Hmm.
mind as well. I had to have a softness to me. I had to have an allegiance to myself while I
Okay.
was out there in the world, like you said, being front and center and helping everybody else and doing
Hmm.
everything else, what was I doing for me? What was I doing to make sure that I could still withstand that and stay out there? Because it was becoming like burnout for me. I was burning myself out,
Burnout is real. Yeah.
you know, trying to be here and do this and prove to people that I can do things, or I'm educated in things, or I'm knowledgeable in things. And
Hmm.
I was trying to do all those things and I was neglecting myself. You know, I felt it with the aches and pains and the consistent headaches back and forth in the ER, and doing those EKGs, those heart checks, the heart monitors.
Oh,
And
you had it bad.
oh yeah, I was just back and forth, and it was the thing of, you know, not me taking care of myself properly, not me stopping to rest, and like I said, for in the morning, giving myself that inner peace, giving myself that pep talk, because sometimes
Right.
you're not going to get it from everybody.
No,
Everybody's not available at the time that you need that, so you have to learn how to be self sufficient and self reliant on yourself at times.
yeah, you do. And being selfish with it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have to be able to take care of you and fill your own cup, because
Mm.
if you cannot, no matter what you do or how you try, you
Mhm.
cannot pour from an empty cup. And eventually your cup is going to be cracked, it's going to be broken, it's going to be shattered, and there's nothing there. So now you're holding everything, in your hands, still
Yeah.
trying to pour in other people, but you forgot about
Mm.
yourself or
Mhm.
not taking care of yourself. So now you ending up in the ER more than
Yeah.
once. And so now we done started something. Well, I say we, but I'm talking about you. That's when you started your podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bags of wellness. What exactly? So I'm talking about cups, but you said no, we're gonna talk about a whole bag. What does that bag of wellness look like for you? Because I know it looks different for everybody, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
What may work for one person is not gonna work for the next, right?
Yeah.
So what are
Mhm.
some things that you figured out that worked for you or didn't work for you that made you take this particular step?
Well, what works for me for bags of wellness is baths, bubble baths. You know, I would talk about that all the time. I'm taking a
Yeah.
bath. I'll get
Yeah.
ready to take a bath. So bubble baths, soft music, lit candles, flowers, doing, you know, floral arrangement, just taking time to myself to take a walk in nature, you know, when
Right.
you can, when it's
Okay.
sunny outside, or even if it's a little cool, you know, a cool breeze and a little light sprinkle or whatnot. Just taking time for myself and doing those things, that fills my cup. You know,
Wait a
my
minute.
cup, yeah.
Floral arrangements. You go buy your own flowers?
I buy my own flowers from Trader Joe's or this local grocery store that's around the corner, and I arrange the flowers. And that goes back to me being in high school. When I was in the 12th grade, I went through a program out here in California called SCROC, and it was like
Okay.
the Southern California Regional Occupational Center or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
And
Uh-huh.
the only class that was available was floral arrangement. And so I took the floral arrangement class, and after a while taking that class, we were able to actually go work in a flower shop, you know, for
Okay.
credit. And so just arranging flowers. And I said, you know, let me get back to doing
To
something
that.
that I loved, you know, that was interesting to me and that I enjoyed. So I would see flowers in the store all the time, but you know, I wouldn't think nothing of it until I'm like, I'm going to get some flowers from Trader Joe's or this grocery store, and I'm gonna do an arrangement, you know,
For
every
yourself.
2 weeks. Yeah, and I'll just have it sitting on a kitchen table, or you know, I'll do a small one and have it in my room, and you know, and that's also a part of me waking up in the
Yeah.
morning, just
Okay.
going in the living room and looking at the pretty flowers, you know, the colors, you know, of it. So that really helps me fill my cup
So
as well.
do you have a favorite flower?
No, you know what? I don't. I just,
Okay.
whatever looks pretty to me, the colors or whatever, I would pick it up. So at this point, I don't have a favorite flower, but it's just anything that's beautiful and
What catches
vibrant.
your eye at the time?
Say it again.
So it's whatever catches your eye at the
Yeah.
time when you're out
Um,
getting flowers. Okay.
hmm.
So I know you said you go into Trader Joe's, uh, but there's also a flower district in California. Do you ever go to the flower district and kind of get lost up in there when it's time when you're ready to do an arrangement?
That's a good idea. I haven't even thought about that. So I may do that and, do a little reel or a little filming of it and get that done. So that's a good idea. I may try to do that one day.
Okay, okay. Speaking
Mhm.
of reels, y'all make sure y'all go find her or follow her. Follow Jessica, that is, on social media, and then on YouTube, because she is definitely vlogging and videoing all of these wonderful things. Because we're gonna get to the nitty gritty here, in with this next shift, because I like the fact that you was transparent and said it wasn't just a one-time journey. It was a few different journeys that was going on, right? So
Mhm.
even though right now we're talking about wellness and bags of wellness, you have now taken it to a new level, and you've written your second book in regards to wellness and making you a priority.
Yeah.
Talk to the people. What does, because you went through, I want to say, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this last journey that you went on in regards to your wellness, you took about a year or more off from everything and everybody to work on you, right?
Just about, I don't think almost a year. You're right. It was
Okay.
about a whole year, and that was done on purpose. I said I
Right.
was going to take that whole year off for myself, and trying to take, it's can be difficult for us people who are
Yeah.
creators, thought leaders, and things like that to
Right.
sit down, and so during that year of me trying to take off, I was still dibbling, dabbling here and there. And with that and other things, that has happened personally, that is what kind of sent me back into the ER. And then Bags of Wellness was born. And then after doing, Bags of Wellness, those podcasts, I started to realize as I'm talking, I kept saying, you got to put you first. You got to put you first. You
Mhm.
got to make yourself a priority. And
Okay.
that's what I talk about in that ebook, how I made myself a priority, why I made myself a priority, and the things that I do to make
Mhm.
myself a priority. So that's all in that book.
And this is an ebook that
Yes.
can be downloaded quickly. And you can definitely catch it through the Linktree app, or her Linktree link, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, is it also available on your website
No, it's just on the
through
link
the
tree.
Linktree? Okay.
Hmm.
So we're gonna leave that up there for a moment. We're gonna put the link in the comments as well, so everyone can see that. So make sure you go into Linktree and the link, and um, get your copy of the ebook, because I got mine. Get yours, and trust me, you are not going to be disappointed. You actually also just recently, this past week, and I'm not going to put them up here because I want them to go to your page. You did a 7-day challenge of a mindset reset 7-day challenge.
Yes.
How was that?
That was actually fun. That was a fun thing for me to do. It was something for me to, release things I wanted to say and get off my chest, and just trying to find a fun way to do it, through
Right.
social media. So using the reels and recording. And I what I'm going to start doing is keeping all my bloopers, right? as I
Okay.
record those things,
Okay.
okay? Because it's like it's not perfect, right?
Right.
Like you said, the title, it's everything is not what it seems to be. So as
Right.
you see those reels, and it seems like it's effortlessly as
Right.
I'm going from different takes on those. I've had to record it so many times. I've, made my script and I'm like, oh no, that don't sound right. No, this is that. And then I'm like, okay, stop thinking so hard. Just go ahead, do it. Relax, sit back,
Okay.
all those things. And I do have it recorded, but of course, I edit it up, I chop it up or whatnot. So
Yeah.
that was the process of it was fun because I didn't stop. I kept going because
You did.
at any point I could have said, this is too much. I'm doing
Right.
too many retakes, but that was the thing of okay, stop, pause, relax,
Yeah.
reset your mind and get back going, for day 6 and day 7. Because I'm struggling through day 4. I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta,
Halfway through it.
yeah, I said, but I
Yeah.
made a commitment, to myself, and I'm
Okay.
gonna see this out. I'm gonna see this through. So, while it was fun making the reels, it was fun doing the editing and adding all the little effects and everything to it. So
Right.
I enjoy writing a little script for myself and sitting in front of the camera and saying it over and over and over and over again until I feel it's good,
Mhm.
and then adding a little edits to it. And the last one was day 7, and I
Okay.
talked showing up. And I'm like, you know what?
Good. You
I gotta
did.
show up. I have to show up. And
You
I
did.
was on, I don't know if he's on here, Chill with Teddy Ray. I was on his podcast
Right.
past Saturday, and he told me, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop,
Absolutely.
don't stop doing what you doing. And that was part of the showing up process. So I'm like, and I told
Absolutely. You have
myself,
to.
yeah, I told myself that like a couple of days before. I think when I was in like day 5, I said, you got to keep going. You got to
Right.
keep going. You just can't do the mindset reset and stop. So I got another mindset challenge coming up.
Coming up.
So
Okay. Well, we're gonna
be
we're gonna
ready for it.
definitely jump in on that one. But it is, there are times, because life is life in for everybody, right?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
being able to pause and reset is a must.
Yeah.
You're doing a mindset reset, and I tell people I got the 3 P's all day, every day, right? There are times where you
Mhm.
got to pause, pivot before you push, right?
Yeah.
And that pivot can be a life changing moment. It can be
Mhm.
something very small or it can be
Mm.
something very large, but whatever it is, it needs to be for you and do it for yourself and not anybody else,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Because there's power in your no. Eventually,
Mm.
you're going to have to say no to somebody. Don't let
Mhm.
it be to yourself.
Mm. Yeah,
Right?
that's
It's
good.
okay to
Yeah.
say, no, I can't go. I'm not going to that event, or no, I'm not doing this, or no, I'm not doing that. And you don't know, you don't owe an explanation, because if you keep saying yes, unfortunately, like you mentioned before, you can end up in somebody's ER with EKGs and all this other stuff that you don't desire to have.
Yeah.
Right? So doing that
Yeah.
mindset reset, taking that pause, doing those pivots is definitely needed to go forward. So I do. I'm like with what's his Chill with Teddy Ray. Keep shining, keep
Yeah.
showing up, because somebody is waiting to hear your voice, but they don't have a voice of their own just yet to tell you that. So they're
Yeah.
waiting on you. Okay, what's she gonna do next? Okay, let me try that next. Okay, because as much as I knew you like flowers, I didn't realize you were doing your own flowers,
Yeah.
right? I was like, oh, okay, because I know I
Those
didn't
are
get it,
those are
huh?
all of my arrangements.
Your arrangements, right? Because I do. I go back and I don't catch all the lives when you do them, so I go back and watch some of the replays, and then I go back and watch some of the videos that you have on YouTube. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
let's see what adventure she was on this weekend. You'll be out. You'll be trying different things in different places, um, and figuring out what it is that Jessica likes, right? Because
Mhm.
you hold so many titles. And I heard you mention, because I did listen to I keep looking because I want to get his name right. Chill with Teddy Ray. I was
Mhm.
listening to the show you did with him the other day, and
Mhm.
there was something you said on there that caught my attention of you even being a mom and being a wife, you still go out by yourself at times.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
is it so you date yourself still, right?
Yes. Yes.
What is that feeling, because I know we in this wonderful world of everything, and when people don't
Mhm.
understand something, they give you the side eye, they look funny and all these different things. What does that feel like going out by yourself? Because you went to a concert or something, right?
Yes.
What was
Yes.
that like?
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I got
Okay,
there. It was in the city of Cerritos here in
okay,
California. Not a bad drive.
right,
It was with Expose and In Vogue.
okay,
So
okay,
Expose was the '80s girl group, and we all know, In
right,
Vogue, right? We all know In Vogue, and so I got there. I sat in my car. I chilled. I went and got a little lunch across the street. Came back, waited in my car some more because I had never been there before, so I wanted to get
okay,
there a little bit earlier,
early,
so I,
okay,
knew where to park because I didn't want to be walking, at nighttime when it was over. So I got a good park right up front. I had
okay,
a great seat. The theater is not that big; it's pretty small, but I still had a good seat. I met some people. We laughed. We talked. One of the ladies that was sitting next to me, she said her friends purchased a ticket for her birthday, and I was
okay,
like, "Oh, okay, happy birthday, whatever." And she said, "Well, who are you here with?" I said, "Nobody." She said, "You came here by yourself?" I said, "I sure did." She was like, "Oh my God. Oh, wow. I don't think I could ever, I said, let's enjoy the show." I said, but that's a long, conversation.
right,
I said, you sometimes I think at some point, not everybody, but some people will get to that point of enjoying being alone. And
yeah.
I don't, want to call it isolation, like where you isolate yourself from people and you
Oh
don't want
no,
to
that's
talk to
something
them.
different.
No.
Right,
Yeah, it's solitude, just
right.
having time to myself, and to think about it. And like I think I was telling Chill with Teddy Ray that, you can hear things, right, more
Yeah,
clear. You can hear your thoughts. You can talk about things with yourself. You're able
yeah.
to journal and
Right,
write
right.
things more clearly when because I know we all busy, so sometimes you have to set an appointment with yourself, right? To
I do. I do.
to get there and to that
Yeah,
point to say, okay, I'm whatever it is you're gonna do, but
yeah.
just to get to that point where you don't want to hear nothing but silence or either the birds chirping.
That part. That part. Because I do. I will definitely go out and have a meal by myself and things like that.
Mhm.
I've never done the concert thing by myself. I had to think about it. No, I've never done the concert
No.
thing by myself, but I will go out and have a meal by myself. I've done the movies, by
No.
myself. I've done
Mhm.
walks in the park. And so, yeah, I do actually, take myself out or date myself or spend that alone time with myself because we all need it. And, I'm a big journaler. So I will sit at
Mhm.
the table and I will journal the whole time, right? Um, so I get that, but to hear that you went to a concert, I was like, she did a what? Hmm,
Yeah.
okay. Was you dancing in your seat? I gotta know. Was you
Yes,
dancing
I
or
was. I have my purse locked and loaded in front of me, and I was like, "Yeah, I remember that song." And the place was jumping. It was loud.
okay?
I tell you, it was just so much fun. The women sitting behind me. I mean, we was all up jamming. Of course, it was an older,
Right,
crowd.
right, right.
groups of older, even like older men were just out and about, and
Just
everybody had
doing
their
it.
phone. So both acts, both groups, they gave a great show. Great
Okay.
show. And I would
Okay.
do it again. I would, if it was those same two, I will go again to the show.
Got it. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna go back just a second. Look, I gotta pull my phone out because I know what I want to ask you, but I need to make sure I have it right. You just made a post earlier today
Okay.
about starting the breaking process. It's time to heal, and you did it in a story format.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that for the people? And I didn't want to bring it on the screen because
Mhm.
I want them to go to your page because I was like, "Oh, that's good, right? That's good."
Yeah.
But when you talk about that, because one of the things you put in there was breaking limited beliefs.
Yes. Yeah. That that it's a must. That is a
Okay.
must when it comes to that solitude. You
Okay.
know, you getting together with yourself and thinking about those beliefs. Because one of those story pages, I say, who told you you couldn't? Right?
That part.
And that's what many of us, Gen X kids, we grow up with things that are already
Hmm.
implanted within us,
Yes,
and
we
we
do.
just think along as we get older, this is the way, this is how it's supposed to go. And you're trying to go along that path, but something is not right. It don't
Yeah.
it don't feel good, and it's
Right.
it's holding you back, and it's holding you back mentally. You are just like,
Yeah.
you crashing, and so just putting breaking those beliefs and things like that, that's
Hmm.
something that I know a lot of us struggle with, and the
Oh yeah.
reason why we can't move forward with what we
Right.
want to do, the reason why we don't have peace and inner peace within ourselves. So, like I said, at the end of it, reread this and come
Yeah.
back to it, because it's going to take a few times. It may even
Oh yeah.
take you a year before you
Before you
break
can
some of
yeah.
those limiting beliefs that you
So let me
have.
ask you this, because I know, right? And we've had these conversations about breaking chains and generational curses, or
Yeah.
as we call them, fixed generational mindsets, right?
Uh-huh.
There's quite a few that I have broken, within my own family dynamic and own family chains, and some that I'm still working on, right? Because
Okay.
they're definitely not going to go past me, and I don't want them to go past me. What or can you share one of the barriers that you have broken, that was something that was passed down, um, that you didn't allow it to go past you, or you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is touching my kids. I need to change this right now.
I will say it's that people pleasing,
Okay.
doing whatever people want you to do. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. But
Right.
you're like, oh, well, it's this, is that, and such, or, that's a family member. You got to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, I
Mm-mm.
don't want to do that. Look, anymore. I've
Right.
done that. I've continued to do that, and I don't feel good about myself, or I don't feel good, period, or I'm upset, or I'm, mad, and I'm frustrated. And what do? You take it out on other people who don't even deserve that,
Right.
because you are people pleasing, and you're not feeling good about it, and it's just messing you up. It can mess your whole life up if you continue to operate in that way.
Right.
So that was one of the things. And like you said, I don't, well, this generation now, my kids, and they 20, they don't care, period. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I don't
they
think
don't.
I don't
They
think this generation of kids, you can pass down anything to them.
don't.
I think it
Baby.
kind of it stopped with us.
It's a lot because my son just turned 22, and I'm like, oh my god. But
Uh-huh.
my daughter, who matter of fact, she's about to turn 32. I'm
Okay.
just like, wait, I don't. And they are more alike than a little bit. But you're right. There's a lot that they will not. will not do. And I know one of the things that I stopped with myself,
Mm.
was what happens in this house stays in this house. We're not doing that.
Oh
If
yeah.
you need help with
Heard about
something,
that.
I need you to
Mm.
speak up if it's to me or somebody you trust, right? But another one that, I also took into account the old saying of children are meant to be seen and not heard. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
kids have feelings too.
Right.
And they can feel a lot more than a grown person can because we in our feelings a lot, right? If my children are hurting, I need you to be able to come talk to me and tell me that you're hurting or you don't like or something is going on so we can figure it out together. Because
Mm.
too many people brush it to the side that kids or younger kids don't have emotions or they're not going through something. Kids going through a lot, and especially today's kids. Even talking to my grandson, even talking to him today and listening to what he's saying going on the playground.
Mm-hmm.
These babies are going through a lot, right? So this whole thing now about, having perfect attendance at school, let them babies take a mental health day, right?
Yep.
I am big now on mental health
Yep.
days, because they need it.
Mm-hmm.
They need it. You need.
Mm-hmm.
I tell it all the time. Even a coach need a coach,
Yeah.
right? Even a coach need a therapist. I got one of them too, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
have our accountability circles. We have our people that we can talk to about different things or the same things, and the buck stops here. It does. So
Yeah.
this current generation, those in they 20s, is definitely a
Yeah. Yeah.
different breed, and they will walk away from something in a
Right.
heartbeat, and they're asking why do I need to stay here, right? So I get it, and they are willing to do different things, right?
Yes.
Because and we're in the same generation.
Mm-hmm.
um, we were taught to go to school, get the education, get the degrees, get the letters, get the corporate office, get the corner office, and do all the things.
Yeah.
This current generation, they like, I don't want to do 4 year school. Some of
Yep.
them are, but these
Mm-hmm.
others was like, I want to go to a trade. I want
Mm-hmm.
to go and get these, get these certifications and start my own business because they're not trying
Mm-hmm.
to jump into what we know as the corporate world, right? They
And
want to do their own thing and travel, and that makes a difference to them.
oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that breaking those cycles and breaking those chains is we've had that conversation many a time. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's next on the books for Jessica Rowe and
I
New Level
do.
Mindset? What's
I
next?
do have that again that mindset series coming up. I won't reveal what the rest of it is. It's more
Okay.
than mindset, but it's mindset something else.
Oh, the
So
new challenge.
yeah, it's something
Got it.
else.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
mindset reset. It's gonna be mindset
Okay.
and nothing. But I have that coming up. I'm working on that, and then I do have another book in the works right about now.
Are you
So
serious?
yes,
See,
I
you
do.
held that one back from me. You didn't even tell me that
Yeah, this I'm tight lipped. You know, I usually tell you stuff, but I'm gonna be tight lipped on this one until
one.
I
Okay.
get it. I tell you whatnot, but I do,
Yeah.
and I think this one is about using our voice. That's what
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
say.
know that.
It's
Uh-huh.
about using your voice. And so yeah, those two right now. That's
Okay.
what I'm working on, and just stay tuned for Bags of Wellness that'll be back as well.
Okay. So check this out, y'all. Make sure you go like and follow and share. Find Jessica across all social media platforms under Jessica Rowe and New Level Mindset. She is there. Um, Make sure you do that for one. If you need more information, check out her website of newlevelmind.com. Yes, newlevelmind.com. Check out her website. We did post it in the comment section, but you can also look up New Level Mindset on Linktree and get your copy of the ebook, right? Because you definitely want to keep up with what she got going on, because she dropped a bomb on me and I didn't even know it. Right? I feel some kind of way, but it's
I
okay though, because I know it's some good stuff. And
Oh
it's funny
yeah,
that you say that, because that's one of the projects I'm working on in regards to using your voice for obvious reasons.
right.
Um, but before I let you go, I got one question I ask all of my guests, right? We live in this current society of social media where people want to cancel out what they don't believe or what they don't like or what they don't
Mhm.
understand, or you don't look like the norm, right?
Mm.
What you mean you have issues? You don't look like you have issues. You are breaking all of those barriers. You are breaking all of those stereotypes. So, in your words, what does it mean to live life with no more limits while being beautifully flawed?
Oh wow, that's a good one. I like that. It it means freedom. It means you have a choice. You have choices and freedom. When
Okay.
like you said, once you break those barriers, that's freedom. And then that means you have choices to go out and conquer whatever it is you want to conquer in this world. But
Hmm.
and I love how you put that. It's like the barriers,
Yeah.
what's bonding us, what's holding us together as to why we can't make those moves that we deeply desire. A lot of us have deep desires to
Oh,
do other than what we are currently doing, that's not serving us, that's overwhelming us, that's frustrating us. But because in society, it's like, this is the way you got to do it. This is the way it's always been done. What do you
hmm.
mean you're trying to do something else? We gotta get into a space to with ourselves, and like you said, around other people, and get comfortable and talk about what's holding us back, and go ahead and break those chains, like you said, and break those barriers, and get the limiting beliefs out of your mind. Break them down.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Last question. And
Mm-hmm.
you probably kind of put some of this in that last statement.
Okay.
If the people don't remember anything else that you've said and what you've shared in the last 55 minutes, what are two takeaways that you need for them, or you feel that they should take away from this entire conversation?
I always give this quote, or I think it's an African proverb that I heard Les Brown say, and he says, "Some of the best ideas are in the grave." So do not take the ideas that you have, get them out. Don't take them to the grave with you. In this day and age of technology, we are able to show up in our purpose and show up how we want to show up in life. The world is, especially right now, right? This is a time to get that creativity out, to dust off some of those notebooks or whatever, and put some things out in the world that's going to be beneficial and helpful to people. Because guess what? It was helpful and beneficial to you. So it's
Right.
going to help somebody else. And yeah, just get those ideas out there. Stop holding them in your mind on the shelf in the notebook. Get with somebody like Consuela, myself, and get it out. Because that's all people need is that push.
That
Once
push
they
for
get that push and that talk, or that coaching that they need,
sure.
they can skate, sometimes can skate right on through. And there go your story, and you're able to tell it to somebody, and it helps the next person.
All right. Y'all heard it, guys. Everything is not what it seems to be. And Jessica Rowe is definitely not what it seems to be, because she didn't put it all out there. And if you looking at you, you do not look like what you have been through. That is a definite. So I want to thank you very much for coming on What's in Your Cup Conversations, sharing your journey, sharing your testimony. We definitely got to have you back for some other updates with this
Yes,
new book, because we're going to have to talk about that. Make sure you guys come on in. If you're watching the replay, that is awesome. Make sure you are sharing the link, share it with somebody, because again, this conversation could be the answer to somebody else's prayers. And we will see you in 2 weeks where we are talking leaping with laughter and probably some lip gloss too. Until next time, everybody, remember, live life on your own terms. Have a good night.